From the Bob Varley Studio in Orlando, Florida, this is the DIS Unplugged. This is the DIS Unplugged, episode number 831 for July 21st, 2015. The DIS Unplugged is brought to you by Dreams Unlimited Travel. Let the experts at Dreams Unlimited Travel help you plan the perfect Disney, Universal, cruise, or Adventures by Disney vacation. Hi, everybody. I'm John Magi, and I'm going to be your host this week. And I am lucky enough to be joined at the table.
Oh.
Lucky enough.
Wow.
By Miss Kathy Whirling.
Hi, everybody.
Jenny Lynn Knopp.
Hello.
Teresa Eccles.
I'm back.
Corey Martin.
I'm just happy to be here. I really am.
And back in the production nook, Mr. Rhino Clavin.
Hello.
What the heck was that?
That's not my name.
What is it?
It's Clavin.
Oh, Rhino Clavin.
Hey, Maggie. John Maggie.
You have the hardest name ever.
I know.
And our producer, Craig Williams.
Associate, but I could.
Well, today
thanks
you're
for
our
the
producer.
promotion.
Today you're our producer.
Dustin won't be happy about that, I'm sure.
Oh, it only counts if you're here.
Okay.
For those of you who haven't guessed, Pete Werner is not here this week. He and Dustin are still in Disneyland. We just got back from a fantastic Adventures by Disney vacation where we spent the actual 60th anniversary of Disneyland in the parks that day. It was terrific. Also, Kevin Close isn't here. He's not feeling well today. And Jenny Lynn was very gracious to fill in at the very last minute. So we appreciate you showing up this week, Jenny Lynn. We're going to get started with some housekeeping. Does anybody have any housekeeping they want to talk about?
I do.
All right.
Over here. Me. You want me to do it now?
No.
Okay.
Anybody else?
No.
All right, Tracy, you can go.
All right. I want to talk about the upcoming DIS Meets. The next one to show up is the August 14th to 16th Nova Scotia meet. This is the fourth year they've done it. Gotta go. Pirate cruise, ice cream for breakfast, shopping, museums. Can't beat that, right? The next one coming up is the August 29th Indy meet. This is their 8th annual. This one, there's no cost. There's no registration. You just show up with homemade food and eat all day. It's amazing, isn't it? Mm-hmm. It's cool. The next one is the New England meet, September 18th to the 20th. This is the 5th year they've done this. It's in Newton, Massachusetts this year, 15 minutes from Boston. They're going to have trolley tours of Boston, private showing of Inside Out, the Disney movie, a lot of other stuff, live show. And then the last one for the year is October 16th to the 18th in Newark, Delaware. This is the 3rd year they've done it. This one I'm kind of excited. I'm excited about all of them, but this one's going to have a hayride and a bonfire.
Oh, really?
Because it's in the fall. Isn't that cool?
Yeah.
And the day of the meet is a food trucks instead of.
Oh, that's cool.
So that's kind of
Are
different.
they going to set the
that's good.
hayride on fire? Is
I
that
hope so. Bonfire on the hayride. I mean, weenies, marshmallows. We don't get fall in Florida, so I'm very excited about all of these because they're all out of Florida. So that makes it cool. So anyway.
I want to say send well wishes to Denise because she hasn't been feeling well. She's one of the organizers in the Delaware meet, so get well soon.
She is off work for another week and a half, I think, recovering. So
We'll have links to all of these in the show notes page. If you are in that area or you're planning on traveling in that area, please participate in some of these meets, all for a very good cause, raising money for Give Kids the World. So we're very happy to be part of most of those meets, whoever can attend. Anybody else? Housekeeping?
I do. 2 weeks ago, I kind of leaked that we were doing new Magic Band skins for the DIS. Those are now live at magicyourband.com. There's a link on the side of that. They're doing very well. A lot of people, it was received. Everybody loved it. I mean,
people on our trip went ballistic. Went absolutely ballistic.
And I want to let everybody know that we are taking your feedback. A lot of people requested more girly designs. Those are live now. We have pink, purple, and green, like a lime green. We also have a lot of questions about Give Kids the World. We have a design coming up where if you buy these, 100% of the proceeds go to Give Kids the World. We'll also have some of these at some of our meets
Oh, cool.
that they're supplying for us.
What was the website?
MagicYourBand.com, and they've added a link on the side. DIS merchandise. There's iPhone cases. You can customize it. You can add your username. You can just say whatever you want. PG. And then, but we're adding more. We have some other designs coming, so keep looking out for them.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. This is usually the part of the show where Pete talks about what's coming up on other podcasts that we do. I don't really care about the other shows. So I'm going to let Craig. Oh, I'm sorry.
That's
Was that offensive?
insensitive.
I'm sorry. I'm going to let Craig talk about the Disneyland podcast.
Oh, the Disneyland one. Sure. On this week's show, the Disneyland show, that is, Tom takes a look at the Wyndham Hotel and the team shares their experiences from Disneyland's 60th birthday party. So their shows come out on Mondays. You can listen to them live on Mixlr on Sunday nights at 8 o'clock Pacific time, which would be 11 o'clock Eastern for those of you who don't know math. And so then you can have the new show on Mondays, and then on Tuesdays, that's whenever the other shows come out that they do. So 3 shows in 1 week. You can't beat it.
With a stick.
Sure. And that's what's happening this week on the Disneyland show. But what's happening on the trip on Wednesdays at 1 o'clock?
I was going to help you talk about the Universal show.
Oh, well, I'm not ready for that yet.
All right.
We're ready.
I'm not ready.
What's happening on the trip?
Tell us, JL.
Well, Teresa, this week we're going to be discussing. I forgot what we're discussing. Oh, I know what we're talking about.
With such confidence.
We'll be talking about how to keep everyone happy in your group while you are traveling.
Because not everybody
sometimes-
wants to go to the same destination.
That's right. Sometimes that's a challenge. So we're going to be giving you all kinds of tips and tricks to use. Many of them
Involve
coming
duct
directly
tape.
from yeah, but many of them also come directly from you because we've got input for this show.
Awesome. Thank you, Jenny Lynn. Are you ready yet, Craig?
I guess I can be ready now.
Okay, good.
So this week on the Universal show, we'll be going out live at 1 o'clock. We are going to be talking about one of the best attractions that Universal has to offer, and that's Twister, ... Ride It Out. So tune in for that. Talking some other stuff. Who knows what will happen.
Who knows?
It's always a crazy time.
It is.
There you go.
All right. Thank
That's
you,
it.
Craig, for that.
Thank you.
I want to mention housekeeping for those of you who don't know. Some of us are going to be at D23 this year. For the first time ever, the DIS Unplugged and Dreams Unlimited Travel will have a booth at D23, and several of us around the table will be there manning the booth. So come by and talk to us and meet with us, and we're going to have some really cool stuff going on. We're going to have some giveaways. We're going to have some prizes. You're going to have to sign up and enter into a contest, but we got some cool prizes to give away. We're really excited to talk to people. If you are a Dreams Unlimited Travel client, I want to let you know, please come by and say hi specifically. We have something very special for our clients who come up to the booth. So
John's going to have his personal hugging table.
I am.
Hugging
It
booth?
is.
Oh, sorry.
Why you?
Well,
Is it
and
going to
then,
be air conditioned?
of course.
D23, yes. It's in a big expo room.
Oh, okay, cool. All right. I'd hug him then.
For those of you who aren't going to be there, we are going to try to make everyone feel like they are there as well, too, by doing some live broadcasts throughout the day, giving our opinions on it, maybe showing some of the highlights that are actually happening. So we'll have a schedule coming out of when we think those broadcasts are going to be, so everyone knows. And then, of course, social media. Make sure you're following us already on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram if you want to be up to date on everything that's happening. So
Absolutely. You never know what's going to happen. You never know who'll show up. So it should be a good time.
I hear Tom Bell's going to be there.
All right. Well, so much for my good time. All right. Anybody else have any housekeeping? All right. So we're going to move on to the news. But before we move on to the news, I just want to advise people that our first 2 news stories are not exactly happy stories.
Oh, again.
They might not exactly be for all ears. So if you have young ones listening, it might be a good time for you to fast forward or put a pillow over their heads or whatever parents do. I don't know. Whatever they do for kids. To get them to
I
not
think
listen.
that came out wrong.
Did that come out?
No,
wrong?
it came out exactly as he planned it. Notice he does not have children.
All right, so I'm going to turn it over to Kathy. Kathy's going to read the news for me this week. She took her first deep breath.
Okay. Former Disney Cruise Line employee is sentenced to 5 years in molestation case. Ahmed Safian, a former Disney Cruise Line employee, has been sentenced to 5 years and 10 months in prison for molesting a 13-year-old passenger. Safian, 37, of Indonesia, worked on the Disney Dream and took the girl into an empty cabin and molested her. Safian pleaded guilty to the charges. The state's attorney, Russ Bush, was asked for a 10-year sentence, but the judge lowered the sentence to 5 years and 10 months. Bush said, "I think we were being very reasonable. I feel like the sentence was a little lenient in this case. The last thing they had on their mind was that a crew member of a Disney company boat would assault their daughter this way." The girl's brother read a statement to the judge. "Our family is currently still picking up the pieces, making phone calls, and praying for resolution. I am unable to talk about the details of this crime without crying or shaking. None of us want to discuss this cruise, which has definitely turned into a nightmare." Safian apologized to the family and said he regrets the decision he made that day. He will be deported to Indonesia after serving his sentence.
Horrible, horrible, horrible.
You know, when this first came out, what was this, a year, 2 years? It seems like
Yeah.
a
It was a
long
while.
time
It was a
ago.
long time ago.
I remember seeing this photo, and we've been on a lot of cruises. I thought he looked familiar. You know, because you don't know if you've seen him passing in the
Yeah.
ship or whatever, but I always thought, like, wait, he looks familiar. I don't know if I saw him in passing or something, but I don't know. It was kind of freaky.
This is a horrible thing. This is, you put your trust that you're going to have a safe vacation, no matter where you vacation, whether it's Disney or somewhere else. And for something like this to happen is just devastating to any family. So I don't know if the sentence matches the crime.
No,
No.
You don't believe it does?
no.
I don't think it does.
Not as a mother. I don't think any mother would feel that way. This story strikes terror into my heart because, especially at that age, that's the age when you, as a mom, struggle with the idea of giving them some independence.
Yeah.
And especially on something like I know when I took my kids last year on the Disney cruise, it was very difficult for me, but I finally was kind of like, okay, you may roam around the boat. It's a boat. You know,
What's gonna
there's-
happen?
What could happen? You can't get lost. Nobody's gonna take you and jump overboard. But apparently things can happen, and so it just I seriously, like, I sit here and I'm shaking a little bit with fear and with anger at the idea. I can't even imagine what the family is going through.
The whole idea of vacationing with Disney creates this illusion of a bubble. That you're going to be in this bubble and everything's going to be safe and everything's going to be great and my kids are going to be safe. And I think that parents do feel like a Disney cruise is a place where they can give kids a little bit more independence.
Right.
You can go off, you can go to the kids club on your own, you can experience maybe the teen club on your own. And for this to happen, I think puts a real damper in the way people are going to look at vacationing with Disney, and it's really sad.
Our last cruise was the first one. Stella was almost 12 at the time. 12. That was the first one I let her roam freely by herself. And she's a loner. She's not going to run in a pack of children. So she would be going by herself. And I worried. But I worried for things like falling overboard, getting lost. And I tried not to. You don't think about these things.
Yeah.
And you need to, I guess.
There was a time on, I forget which cruise it was. It was a podcast cruise that we, for a split second, we turned our back and where's
remember
Ferris?
that. I remember
We're up
that.
by shutters and we're like, where's Ferris? And the first thing I see are those doors that go over to the run, like the track.
The track.
And we are freaking out, mainly because he, he's verbal, but not everybody understands him. But going back to this story is that a fear of mine is that if something ever did happen to him, I'm not sure he could tell us
afterwards.
He might be trying to tell us, but I'm not sure he could actually let us know what actually happened. So
And you would know
that's a
something happened, but you wouldn't
we
know
would,
what
we
it-
would,
yeah.
and that's a
Yeah.
huge fear. But like you said, and you go on a Disney cruise, you go to Disney, and I don't want to forget everything, but you still can never ever let your guard down.
I agree. All right, so let's move on to our second happy story. Kathy?
Okay, another heavy story. 3-year-old drowns in Disney resort swimming pool. A 3-year-old child drowned last Tuesday, July 14th, in a pool at Disney's Art of Animation Resort, according to the Orange County Sheriff's Office. The child was found dead after 8 p.m. The child was pronounced dead at a hospital, deputies said. According to deputies, the child visiting was from out of town and was somehow separated from his parents. After a search, the child was found underwater. Other details were not immediately available.
Another sad story.
Yeah.
I think Corey has some information coming from the standpoint of being a former cast member who did lifeguarding at the pool.
Well, I can say that these parents, I mean, I can't imagine what they're going through. They, they don't need the internet to tell them anything about parenting or anything like that. Condolences out to them. Also, anybody, any of their family, I cannot imagine what they're going through. A lot of people are like, oh, there are lifeguards. Lifeguards are a backup plan. They're a backup plan. And sometimes they're the C plan. If there are 2 parents out there, mom, dad, lifeguard. When I lifeguarded at Disney, the majority, I would say close to 95% of the times I saved the child out of the wave pool or a deep end, the parent was right next to him. The parent was right there. So, the parent could have been right there, just turn their back for a little bit. It happens so fast. And Disney lifeguards, and I'm not saying that because I was one of them, we go through serious training. Massive training and audits, and you are always looking for that moment where you could be audited. They will come in there with an oxygen tank and go to the bottom of the pool. And if it takes you longer than 30 seconds to get to them, you're out doing another job at Disney, if you still have a job at Disney. There's a thing called a 10/20. Each lifeguard, and I heard there was a lifeguard on duty, and I can't imagine what that lifeguard's going through because you have one job. Your job is not to talk to guests. Your job is to be nice, but your job is to look for kids drowning. So I can't imagine what that lifeguard's going through. I know I would be, I don't know how I'd be feeling, but your job as a Disney lifeguard is to look for drowning kids and to always do that. And a lot of guests thought we were rude because they'd come behind us and say, oh, can you answer the question about, is the food court open? And you're talking to them, but you can't leave your eye off of that water. It's a 10/20. Every 10 seconds, you need to scan your area. And in 20 seconds, if you see something, you have to get to that person in 20 seconds, 30 seconds tops. That's what's instilled in us as a lifeguard. And so I can't imagine what the family's going through. I can't imagine what the lifeguard's going through. It's unfortunate. It's an accident, and I don't know what I would do as a lifeguard, but like I said earlier, the majority of the saves I did at Blizzard Beach, the parent was right there. The parent was right there. It's like your child's drowning behind you. And I would save the child, and the parent's like, oh, thank you. And, as a lifeguard, it's like you save the child, and goes through my head, I'm like, you better be thankful that I was here. You better be thankful that I saw your child. But in this case, very unfortunate case that the parent didn't see it, the lifeguard didn't see it, and then we're stuck with this news story.
Said the report is that the child got away from the parents. So for some reason, the kid was not with the parents. So this just shows how quickly something like this can happen. You can't take your eye off your kids for a second.
And you think of that when that pool is like nothing but a sea of people. Mm-hmm. I saw a video the other day where it was like, can you look at this video and find the child in distress? And I had to look at it several times before I could find the child that was actually that needed help. I mean, I can't imagine. I wouldn't be a lifeguard, but I'm glad they're there.
You're taught that. I mean, you're taught to look for those things, and if they're the blind spots, those are lifeguards you see kind of walking along the side of the pool. You see those lifeguard stands, but there's usually not a lifeguard sitting there. If there is, there are other lifeguards kind of walking the area and looking at all those blind spots. You know where your blind spots are, and you constantly keep moving. But I'm not saying the lifeguard didn't do his job. It's just it's unfortunate. It just really is. And the parents need to realize that Disney life vests are free. One of the very few things you get for free at Disney, and that's a life jacket or a life vest. And if you have any question about your child, even 3 years old, swimming, get a life jacket, get a life vest. They're free. That's just, we tell people all the time that they're free.
Very sad. Our condolences go out to the parents of this young child. So that's going to do it for story number 2. I think let's take a breath. Let's shake it off, okay? All the bad news is gone. So we're going to move on to story number 3.
Okay. Disney announces 2015 Disney Legend Honorees. Disney has announced this year's Disney Legend Award recipients who will be honored at the D23 Expo this August at the Anaheim Convention Center in a ceremony to be hosted by Chairman and CEO Bob Iger. According to Iger, the Disney Legend Award is our highest honor, and we are incredibly proud to recognize these 8 talented individuals who have contributed so much to the world of entertainment and the Disney legacy. The 2015 Disney Legend Award honorees are George Bodenheimer, who retired from his role as executive chairman of ESPN in May 2014, and he enjoyed a remarkable 33-year career that began in the company's mailroom in 1981. Working his way through the ranks, he became executive vice president of sales and marketing in 1996 before being named the network's 5th president in 1998. He held that role until 2012 when he stepped down from day-to-day operations. And I'm going to butcher some names here, but I apologize in advance. Andreas Deja is a link to Disney's past and one of the greatest animators of its modern era. Deja is known for his rich portraits of villainy, having animated Gaston for Beauty and the Beast, Jafar for Aladdin, and Scar for The Lion King. He has also brought life to heroes such as Mighty Hercules, the precocious Lilo from Lilo and Stitch, Regal King Triton from The Little Mermaid, wise Mama Odie from The Princess and the Frog, and lovable Tigger, Winnie the Pooh. In 2007, he was awarded the prestigious Winsor McCay Award for his contributions to the art of animation. Okay, then we have Eyvind Earle, one of the greatest of Disney artists, who brought his unique style to a number of memorable projects, but perhaps the purest realization of his vision remains the visual styling and backgrounds for the Disney classic Sleeping Beauty. Earle's career with Disney began in 1951, working on background artwork for Peter Pan. He created the look of the 1953 animated short, and I want to go look these movies up, Toot, Whistle, Plunk, and Boom.
Oh, I've seen that one.
Really? Mm-hmm. Which won an Academy Award for Best Short Subject Cartoons in 1954. His most notable contribution, however, remains his work on Sleeping Beauty. The film's eye-catching look and its design and backgrounds are the perfect representation of his unique style.
This one surprised me. I thought he was a legend a long time ago. I mean, Eyvind Earle is truly iconic. When you see Sleeping Beauty, you know what his artwork is, and you see it in other areas around the park. So that kind of surprised me that he wasn't already a legend.
Yeah, I said I want to look these people up because their stories sound very interesting, and I wasn't familiar with them before. The next one is Danny Elfman, provided the songs and score for The Nightmare Before Christmas, for which he also provided the singing voice of Jack Skellington. He also scored several Disney films, including Alice in Wonderland, Avengers, Age of Ultron, Dick Tracy, Dead Presidents, Flubber, Good Will Hunting, Civil Action, Instinct, Frankenweenie, and Oz the Great and Powerful. Elfman also wrote the theme for ABC's Desperate Housewives and penned the music for the Mystic Manor attraction at Hong Kong Disneyland. His music is featured in Disneyland's annual Haunted Mansion Holiday. His upcoming Disney projects include Alice in Wonderland, Through the Looking Glass. Now the next one, no surprise, George Lucas, whose Star Wars films made him one of the most successful filmmakers of all times. He's also a longtime Disney fan who has left an indelible impression on Disney parks. His first project with Disney was Captain EO, the 1986 3D spectacular starring Michael Jackson and directed by Francis Ford Coppola. Star Tours and Indiana Jones Adventures at Disneyland, as well as Indiana Jones Epic Stunt Spectacular at Disney's Hollywood Studios, Indiana Jones at whatever in Disneyland Paris,
Whatever.
and
Something French.
yes, and 2 blockbuster Indiana Jones Adventures attractions at Disneyland and Tokyo Disney Sea round out Lucas's timeless work in conjunction with Disney. Now the next one surprised me. Susan Lucci portrayed Erica Kane on ABC's fabled soap opera All My Children for 41 years, a role that TV Guide deemed unequivocally the most famous character in the history of daytime television, earning Lucci 21 Daytime Emmy nominations, for which she won the prestigious Emmy for Best Actress to an industry-wide standing ovation on her 19th nomination. Shortly thereafter, she received her star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame, presented to her by Bob Iger, chairman and CEO of the Walt Disney Company. The iconic actress has also appeared on ABC's Dancing with the Stars and Hope and Faith, as well as Disney Channel's That's So Raven. Lucci currently stars in the international hit Lifetime series Devious Maids, produced by ABC Studios, as the wealthy and effervescent socialite Genevieve Delatour. And I think you always find me the news stories that have all these names in it.
You do.
Yes, okay. The next one is Julie Ream Casaletto, who began her Disney career as a tour guide, becoming Disneyland's first ambassador in 1965. A role created to help Walt, who found it increasingly difficult to attend all the events to which he was invited. As Disneyland's first ambassador, she was chosen as a personification of Disneyland's world-famous spirit of friendliness and happiness. She became the template upon which decades of ambassadors would pattern themselves. And the last one is Carson Van Osteen, helped bring Disney characters to life in a variety of media all around the world for 3 decades. During Van Osteen's tenure, he oversaw creative content for motion picture tie-in advertising, many Disney publications, and also established some of the first licensing style guides for Disney consumer products. The talented artist designed logos for Mickey Mouse's 50th and 60th birthdays, the Walt Disney Studios logo and water tower design, and the Disneyland Hotel Clock Tower Mickey logo in Paris.
I'm sorry, Kathy. I didn't get the last 6.
Yeah, could you repeat those again?
Yes. So that's the news.
Excellent. Thank you so much. I do want to say something. I'm not even sure I'm allowed to say this. I may get in trouble for saying this. We just came back from our last Adventures by Disney trip, and we did a combined San Francisco and Backstage Magic. And in the Backstage Magic, they always do some cool, fun stuff for us. And we got to see some really cool stuff. I can't tell you everything we saw. They were kind of secrets. And I'm going to say something. I hope I don't get in trouble for this. We saw a preview of Mystic Manor. They showed us a ride through of Mystic Manor. It looked incredible. It looked so cool. I want to go there now and see it. It looks like sort of a combination of Haunted Mansion and the Adventurers Club and Pirates. It's sort of a combination of all these elements and all really cool special effects, and sort of Disney Imagineering stepped up to the next level. So it was really neat. All right, thank you for the news, Miss Kathy. Let's go on to Rapid Fire, and just because we like to go in a certain order, Kathy's going to go next for her Rapid Fire.
Oh, goody. Starting, it already started. The Disney Rewards redemption card will no longer have an expiration date. In previous years, they were expiring in 12/15 or 12/16. Nothing else has changed, so if you request a new redemption card, now it no longer expires. But if you have the old ones, you need to use them up before the expiration date.
Great. Exciting. All right, let's move on to Jenny Lynn.
Okay.
What's your Rapid Fire? Is it exciting?
No. I'm not even exactly sure what it is because it just got handed to me when I came in. All right. There's two recent discounts released. The first one is Magical Family Savings coming up this fall. Everybody, hooray. So for a family of 4, you can book a Magic Together package. That's a 4-day, 4-night room in a standard room at the Disney All-Star Resorts. For just starting at $1,701. You need to book between July 20th and September 18th of this year in order to get that. The 3-bedroom family suites or villas are not included in this.
What are the travel dates for that?
There's most nights, October 4th through the 8th, October 12th through the 15th, October 18th through the 22nd, October 25th through the 29th, November 1st through the 5th, Do you really want me to keep reading?
No,
it,
I just
please?
wanted to point out the fact that it's like weeknights.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's like there's no weekends. It's a very restrictive promotion.
Yes. So call your travel agent at Dreams Unlimited Travel to get all of that, all of the details for that. But this package price is based on 2 adults, 1 junior, which is age 10 to 17, and 1 child, age 3 to 9. There's only a certain number of them. The offer is limited. They're valid for 1 theme park per day. And everyone has to be in the same room. Okay. Package number 2 is the kid size package. That's 3 nights at a Disney's All-Star Music Resort with 2-day theme park tickets at $903 for a family of 3. You have to book this one between July 20th and September 18th. Travel window is most Sunday through Thursday nights, and I don't want to read all those dates again. This one is based on 2 adults and 1 child, aged 3 to 9, in a standard room. Again, the number of packages available are limited. Yada, yada, yada.
If you're a Dreams Unlimited travel client, your agents have already gone through your reservations and gotten you this discount if it's applicable to you. It's not a great discount. It's not a new discount. We are finding a little bit of savings if someone's booked a rack rate for that time frame, but these aren't fantastic promotions, so don't get too excited about them. And as you can see, they're limited. There's like one is, no theme park hopping is allowed, so they're kind of restricted packages, but if you fit into that window, go for it. All right, thank you, Jenny Lynn.
You're welcome.
Teresa,
I have something very exciting.
I can't wait.
All right. Merritt Island Wildlife Refuge. Every Thursday afternoon at 2 o'clock, you can go learn all about gators. You can touch a gator. You can get up close and personal with the gator. That's it. I'm done.
Wow, that was exciting.
How personal have you gotten with a gator?
Well, you know what? I've lived here 8 years, and I've yet to see a gator.
Really?
Seriously.
Are you joking? Are you joking?
I've yet to see a gator, so I'm thinking I'm going to have to go here to see a gator.
Have you eaten a gator since you lived
Yes,
here?
I have, and I didn't enjoy it.
No? Oh.
No.
Come to my house.
We can
You
go
got gators. I
we
got
can go
nothing.
miniature
Just-
golfing with gators.
Well, ooh.
You know, there is a whole land
You'd probably
dedicated
win.
to gators.
What would it be called? Let's see.
Like Alligatorland.
Possibly
I don't
Crockland.
know, but
Really?
Merritt Island, I'm all about finding the
Gators.
real Florida.
That would be
Yeah.
Gator.
You know, the Florida
The crackers.
that was here
The gators.
before, yeah,
Dude.
before Walt Disney World. You know, the natural, and this is my husband's influence on me. It's kind of rubbing off. You know,
Well, that's
the
what's
bugs.
nice
and
about Gatorland, because it actually was around before Walt Disney World, and it managed to, coexist with Walt Disney World right down the road.
Okay, well,
so.
I'm talking about Merritt Island.
Well, we could
Wildlife
go there and
Refuge.
check out gators too.
Stop
I don't
changing
know.
the subject,
If you
Kathy.
go to Gatorland, you can actually feed them. I don't know if you can do that on.
You can touch them here. Touch them.
Ooh.
because I've always wanted
Anyway.
to do that.
Thursdays, be there or be not there. I don't know.
All right. Thank you, Teresa. Corey.
All right. Annual pass holders and DVC members can now get a 15% discount at lunch at the Boathouse and a 10% discount after dinner. The Boathouse is new at Downtown Disney. It's incredible. They have a 32 ounce bone-in tomahawk steak. It's $115. But hey, with
Just
this,
gonna say you're gonna need every percentage of that 15% off if you want to eat at the Boathouse.
it's for two or
It is
me.
expensive.
Is it expensive?
But 15%
Food was
off. That's
good,
what,
though.
97.
Something like that.
So you just have to
Something.
show your DVC member card when you
Correct.
come in?
Yes.
Okay.
Or annual pass. I'm surprised that they're not doing tables in Wonderland because I always forget to ask for annual pass holder discounts at dining. I usually ask for tables in Wonderland. If they say no, I assume they have no discounts.
When we were there, we asked about tables in Wonderland, and they said they were working on that. So maybe it hasn't happened yet.
They seem like a game player. I was at the media event, and they were very, accommodating, of course. You're there with cameras. They're going to be. But they seem like they were like a game player, and they really want to, fit in the best possible with Disney guests.
Awesome.
Go check it
Thank
out.
you, Corey.
The Boathouse.
We are going to go back to the Peanut Gallery. Actually, the production nook.
Gosh, I haven't heard that
We don't
in
call it the
months.
peanut gallery anymore. We call it the production nook. I apologize, gentlemen. Rhino, why don't you tell us what you have?
Okay. Beginning July 30th, you can start booking your premium events for the Epcot International Food and Wine Festival. It's the 20th anniversary this year, so there's some of your favorites returning, and then there's some new stuff. There's culinary demos, beverage seminars, mixology seminars. There's general admission for Party for the Senses and general admission for Rockin' Burger Party. I don't know. You can check out all the events at the website and set an alarm to book that stuff. The website is epcotfoodfestival.com. Is that a thing that Dreams Unlimited travel agents will do?
Your agents
too?
can help you with
There
that
you
if
go.
that's what you need. If
Yeah.
you need help with that, they can also give you advice on how to do that, or
I'm one of those people that would need that advice.
you would need advice.
Yes.
Help you the best way in sort of working the food festivals and things like that. They're there to help you. Just ask for Teresa. Thank you, Rhino. Craig.
So, there is a brand new tour available at Walt Disney World. It is the Escape to Walt's Wilderness Tour. So it starts off at the Contemporary Resort Marina, and then you hop aboard a pontoon boat for an eco-history tour of Bay Lake as you travel to Fort Wilderness Resort and Campground. From there, go to the shore of Marshmallow Marsh for breakfast on the beach. After you've had your fill, a horse-drawn wagon will take you to Settlement and Pioneer Hall. Then you hike into a clearing in the woods for an archery lesson, and after that, once you've mastered the bullseye, head to Tri-Circle D Ranch Horse Barn to meet Walt Disney World horses. A PhotoPass photographer will be available, and the photos will be available on Memory Maker.
These are all the things I try to avoid when I go to Walt Disney World. Nature and horses and eating on the beach.
I think it sounds like a really awesome tour. It's
Do ya?
$109 per person,
Oh, that's pretty good.
it's not that awful in terms of Walt Disney World tour prices. And
Are you meeting
it's
the
offered
horses?
2
or
mornings a
riding the
week, I
horses?
believe.
You just
Just
meet
meeting
You meet
them.
them. You're not allowed to
You
ride.
don't ride
They're
them.
gonna go a little bit more in depth with like the horses and the barns. Like you can already walk through there by yourself, and if there's some of the horse takers or whatever you call horse caretakers already there.
Horse
to-
takers.
I think
Cattle
this sounds
ranch.
like fun.
I like
think
the
it sounds
archery
great.
part. I
Well,
do
that's
love
the part I
archery.
wasn't sure if I could do.
I'm
get
all
in
about
touch
the
with your
archery.
inner Merida.
Yes, I do love.
They do pony rides for like $5 or $6. So if you got a kid with you too, you can always hop over and ride the pony.
Well, you can go ride the horses still over there too.
What?
I'm just funny.
like
It's
to
just
ride
funny the way you said ride the pony.
I like the song, like the '80s song. Like
There's inner brony coming out there.
I wonder if you can pet the horses, because that's a restriction over there. You can look at them, but you
can't
can't
touch
pet
'em.
them.
Well, yeah, they're allowed to touch you, but you're not allowed to touch them back.
You can touch the gators at Merritt Island.
Let the gators
is.
go. Just let it go, Teresa.
She is flying that banner.
She is. All right. Thank you, Craig.
Thank you.
Before we finish up, excuse me, I just want to talk a little bit about, we did our Adventures by Disney trip this past week. We just got back, Kevin and I, and Pete and Dustin are still out there. And we're going to do a segment on it. We're going to let everybody know about it. We had a really great time. It was a cool trip. It was the first time we've ever married these two trips together. San Francisco weekend with a Backstage Magic. We had something we've never done before, which is with an internal flight between the two trips. Went flawlessly. We had a great time. Our guides were fantastic. This is a trip we're going to repeat next year, so we're going to be doing it again. If you're interested in that, you can contact Kevin for sure, and he'll help you get on the list of people who want to do it for next year. But the highlight of this trip was the fact that we got a chance to be in the Disneyland park on the 17th, on the actual anniversary, the 60th anniversary. And this is something we worked really hard to do, because the first thing Adventures by Disney wanted to do was say, well, that park's going to be crowded. Let's switch your days around. But we were insistent. Kevin was insistent that we get in on the 17th. And from beginning to end, it was just an incredible day. I know that Tom is going to cover this on their show, so I don't want to take too much of his thunder away, but we had better seats. And we had an incredible time. One of the things that was really cool was we got into the park at like 6 a.m. they got us up at like 5 a.m. and said, listen, if we're going to get in the park and we're going to get to do the things we want to do, you got to be in early. So we were in at 6 a.m. They were actually still setting up for the 60th, but what they had was they had cast members down both sides of the street cheering and applauding as you entered the park.
I saw that.
It was really cool. It was an awesome experience, especially being the first guests in the park that day. It was a cool experience. Then we went off and we did some backstage stuff and we did some ABD stuff that they had set up for us. And at the last 5 minutes before the ceremony kicked off, they ushered us into a spot for the viewing, which was unbelievable. There were chairs for VIPs, and we stood right behind the chairs of the VIPs, and there was a sea of people behind us around the hub down Main Street. And the best part was the people behind us were so mad. We're so angry. I feel bad. I'm joking around about it. I do feel bad that one woman said, listen, I've been here for 24 hours waiting to get in the park. I rushed to get this spot, and now you guys are basically standing in front of me. You know,
And y'all aren't very short.
Exactly. You know, this mountain showed up and blocked out the sun, and this woman couldn't see anything. But it was a very cool experience. Adventures by Disney did it for us. You guys can see the video that Pete and Dustin took from our location. Richard Sherman and somebody. She wasn't that important.
Ashley
She
Brown.
was
Disney's
Mary
Mary Poppins.
Poppins on Broadway.
Yeah, yeah, right. Fine.
Yeah, right.
They made it sound like Julie Andrews was coming out. That's all
Yeah.
I have to say.
I'm surprised they didn't have like Julie Andrews.
She can't sing anymore.
Well, she doesn't sing anymore. But
I mean,
she
they could have had her
been there.
come out and
Right.
done something.
Wave.
I watched it on Periscope, and I was getting goosebumps just watching it, so I can imagine what it must have been like to
The
be there in
performance was
person.
great. We got to see a lot of Disney legends were in the audience. We saw Dick Van Dyke.
Dick was there. I saw
Very
him.
cool.
Awesome.
Yeah. Was his wife
Jealous.
with him?
Yeah.
I'm jealous.
No, I got to see him at the start of the 60th. He was just chilling on a park bench with Richard Sherman and Bob Gurr. They were
There
all
you
just
go.
hanging out talking,
Wow.
and it was
Yeah.
like
How cool.
wanted to go up and say something, and we looked at the handler, and I think Mary Jo asked if we could go over and say hi, and he's like, "Oh, he's not really seeing anyone right now." Like, okay.
You guys are
We'll
traveling
back
with the
off.
wrong crowd. We would have barreled our way right in there.
Yeah, I wanted to, but
Yes, he was with his wife. Then there was some other Disney legends. There was Bob Gurr, and there was Tony Baxter, and Marty Sklar was there. So it was really cool to see those folks come in. And we had a chance to have some VIP seating for later in the day for the parades and the fireworks. I gotta say, it's awesome. If you haven't been to Disneyland, you've got to go see the Pink the Night Parade. Just absolutely blew me away. It was absolutely incredible. And their fireworks was really cool too. So we had a really great trip. Again, we will be repeating this for next year. It's not going to be obviously for an anniversary of the park.
And they're going to repeat that for
Right,
us.
we're going to repeat the
The
exact same
61st.
61st. We can't do that, but if you want to join us, contact Kevin because we think it's going to be another fun time.
Did Kevin get his cupcake?
Okay, so I have to say a couple things here. First of all, Disneyland really knows how to manage an event like this. First of all, the cupcakes were plentiful.
I saw they had 100,000 cupcakes.
Everywhere we turned, people had cupcakes either in the park, and then we stayed at the Grand Californian and we took a break during the day. Tons of cupcakes out. So everybody got a cupcake who wanted a cupcake. The other thing that really blew me away too was they gave out buttons. I was here buttons, and they gave out a special park map. We left the park and came in later that day, and they still had buttons and still had park maps for everybody.
Wow.
I really give them a lot of credit for doing that because in World,
That would have
Yeah.
been gone in like
Yeah.
20 minutes.
we're 20 minutes.
And they'd be on
someone-
eBay.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Someone step on the cat?
I'm deaf.
Bless you. So, yeah, I really give them a lot of credit. Plenty of cupcakes, plenty of things. They gave out a newspaper in the beginning that said Disneyland's 60th anniversary. So it was really well done, I have to say. Some people asked about crowds. We obviously didn't have any trouble getting in, but we also didn't have any trouble getting in the rest of the day. The park didn't close at any point
Oh, wow.
during the day. It was crowded. You know, it was a lot of people, and you had to work your way through the crowds, but it wasn't, it wasn't Disney World, where they close it down at like noon
Did it-
and you can't get back
Did it
in.
have a different feel because it was the anniversary day? Like, even though it was crowded, like, hey, I'm glad to be here because it's Disney's 60th?
I think it did. I think we had a different feel about it. Our whole group was so excited to be there for that, and we were so pumped up for it. But I think a lot of the people went there to see things and not necessarily ride rides. So there was a lot of that a lot of people hung out on the sidewalks waiting for parades. Someone told me they were lining up at 8 a.m. for a spot for Paint the Night,
Wow.
which
It's a lot.
I
of
wouldn't
waiting.
do, but it
Yeah.
was really a great parade.
I had a feeling that the 60th would be a highlight of the trip. Was there a highlight of San Francisco, though?
There was several highlights of San Francisco.
Museum?
For
Walt Disney Museum?
Walt Disney Museum, as always, is fantastic. They gave us a lot of time there, and we had a great experience there. The Dolly exhibit was there. Did you hear that? It was
No.
the Disney Dolly exhibit.
The Destinos?
It was. They did Destino. Very, very little Destino, though. It was a
Okay.
lot of paralleling the two gentlemen's lives and the points at which they crossed, and they did things together. They did things together, and then Destino. However, here's the deal: you have to be a Dolly fan to appreciate
And
Dolly's
I
work.
am. It's weird. That's why I'm a Destino fan, because I love Disney and I love Dolly. And to have some of these artworks, these serigraphs, it's just like the best of both worlds.
He's just a freak.
I am.
Have you ever seen his work?
Oh, he
Just
is
a freak.
Everybody has a little freak in them.
So we did that. That was great. The other thing was
Just a little.
just a little. The other thing that really surprised me was one of the days we visited the winery. We visited Diane Disney Miller's and the Miller family's winery. And I'm not a wine drinker. It wasn't a big deal for me. Many people in our group were really looking forward to it. I loved that day. That day was so cool. The winery was beautiful. On the winery actually is a house where Lillian Disney lived for part of her life. So we got to see it from a distance, but we got to see her house. So that was a big surprise for me. The San Francisco portion was fantastic. We loved every minute of it. And then getting down to the usual stuff that you get to do in a Backstage Magic were really great. They had some, again, I can't give away too many secrets, but they did some really cool stuff just for our group. So we were really, really, really impressed with the whole trip.
Jealous. I hate you.
I know. I love it. All right, before we end the show, is there anything else anybody wants to add? Something we didn't cover?
No.
Crickets.
Well, make sure, now that we talked about all that Disneyland 60th stuff, if you want to see the rededication ceremony because you haven't seen it yet, we're going to be doing a special long version of the park bench that's 18 minutes and just playing that rededication ceremony over again. But if you have to go for some reason, go watch it on YouTube, youtube.com/WDWinfo, and there you can also watch Disneyland Forever fireworks and Paint the Night if you want to get a better idea of what's happening. If you want to save it for being in the park, then that's respectable too, but it's all available there, plus so much more.
I have to say, though, Paint the Night, any video can't do it justice.
I
You
agree.
got to see it in person.
Except for mine.
Right. Yours does do it justice.
But other than that, no other video can
No
do
other
it
video
justice.
can do it justice. Excellent. All right. Well, thank you, everybody. If you are watching us live, stay tuned for our second show. Our show next is going to be, we're going to be giving tips and tips and tricks from a local's perspective on visiting the Central Florida area. So we hope you get some information out of that. But other than that, that'll do it for this show. Thank you, everybody, for participating in our show. I really appreciate you guys being here and being part of the conversation. Thank you, everybody, for watching and listening. And if you're watching us live, all I can say is go back to work. Bye.